Now, lots of us might know what it's like to get a bit competitive with family members, but Dan Guest is taking that to new heights. Yeah, literally.
We're not talking Trivial Pursuit or table tennis here. Dan has attempted to break his own dad's skydiving record for the most jumps in a single day. Carolyn Moses has been finding out whether he could do it.
For most people, one skydive is enough to last a lifetime, but not so for Dan Guest. This was just the start, as he and 4 teammates here at Langar Airfield in Nottinghamshire began the task of completing more than 50 in a day.
We're aiming to do at least 51. That means we need to complete one jump roughly every 11 to 12 minutes. This is something that's a bit more endurance-based, and it's something you don't get the chance to do every day in skydiving. And there's also a bit of a hidden agenda that my dad is the current record holder at 50, so there's a little bit of family rivalry in there to see if we can get to 51.
Yeah. That's 30. Nice. 30 jumps. Yes.
In fact, they reached the big 6-0 over and above, to the thrill of watching staff.
It's a really prestigious thing for us here at Langar because it allows us to really showcase skydiving on a whole new level. So we have jumping happening here every single day. We do upwards of 50,000 jumps in a year. So to have something slightly different and slightly special is just a really nice way for us to celebrate it in a different way. We've had a few records here over the years. We had a couple last year, but this is the first one of its kind and we're really excited.
And what next for Dan and his high-flying team? Well, watch this space.
Well, Carolyn Moses reporting there, and we're joined now in the studio by Dan, British record holder. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And by his dad, Andy, no longer British record holder. Happy Father's Day, Dad. How was that?
It was a surprise, that's for sure.
I mean, obviously you're thrilled for him, but I mean, are you a bit gutted as well, personally?
To be honest, no. I'm just pleased Daniel took on the challenge. You know, taking a challenge that creates more memories.
Aww.
That's very generous. That's lovely.
So, Dan, what on earth possessed you? Obviously, there's a competitiveness between you.
Yeah, you could say that.
Tell us about how it started.
So, I've been skydiving a long time now, 16 years, and I've done quite a few record attempts, but they've generally been sort of largest formations, and they're over quite quickly, so a couple of minutes and you're back on the ground, and they're more about the kind of technical skill. Whereas I've also, outside of skydiving, I climbed the Matterhorn and done some kind of endurance challenges where your body's telling you to stop, but you're thinking, I could keep on going. And I was trying to find a challenge like that to bring into skydiving. And I knew my dad had done 50 jumps in a day a while back, so it had been on my mind for a while, and then finally decided to put it all together to make it happen.
And you got the record, but I couldn't believe it, just hearing the piece then, how quickly you had the turnaround. I mean, it's what, 11 minutes or something between jumps?
Yeah, so to beat the record, we needed to average one, leaving the aircraft every 5 minutes or so.
Wow.
And fortunately, we had a great team at Skydive Langar who put all the infrastructure in place so that we could keep turning around. And I had 4 of my teammates as well, Mikey, James, Elise and Martin, who kept the motivation going as we were getting long into the day.
And Andy, I'm not sure, would you have given Dan any advice about breaking his record?
Dan doesn't need any advice from me.
What did you say to him in advance?
Keep going.
Keep going.
That's what he needs to just keep going.
It's essentially a marathon, isn't it?
It is. It's just non-stop. And tiredness does creep in. I can remember getting to jump at 42 and I was like, oh, I'm getting tired now. But you just keep pushing.
And safety is obviously the primary issue with this. I imagine that's the first thing on your mind. I know you're trying to go faster and faster and faster all the time and keep going, but someone somewhere must be keeping a very close eye that you're not making any mistakes or getting slapdash.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a team of people who are checking the equipment, making sure everybody's putting it on correctly as you're getting tired later in the day, and also somebody on the ground who's just watching out for everybody's safety.
Andy, how involved were you in the day's events when he was going up and down and around?
I kept finding the drop zone. What's the situation now?
Were you there? Were you at the airfield?
No, I was working.
You were working? Oh. So am I still the record holder? Am I not?
I knew it was going to go. The only thing that could help me was the weather. It didn't.
That's what I was going to ask you about. You must have to plan this by looking at the weather. Is that how it works?
Hoping for the weather. You can't really. We started planning at least 6 months ago, so we set aside a few days window where we brought everything in to make it happen, and we were sat there the week before nervously refreshing, and then fortunately we had a day where it looked like we could go ahead and we brought everything in.
Just one day in that window?
Just one day is all we had, yeah. The days either side wouldn't have been possible, so we were very lucky.
Andy, how long had you held the record for?
Well, I did my 50 jumps in 2002, and the reason we did it, everyone's celebrating the Queen's Jubilee, 50 years. So 4 of us decided to do 50 jumps in one day. And we sent some pictures to the Queen, got a letter back from the Queen's secretary saying the Queen was most impressed how you chose to celebrate Jubilee. She thinks you're very brave.
Oh, that's fantastic. So 22 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And how young was Dan when you first suggested that skydiving might be quite good fun?
Well, we used to own a skydiving school, so Dan grew up in the drop zone. So I didn't have to tell him, he was constantly jumping to people's parachutes.
Causing mayhem watching from the ground. And as soon as I turned 16, which is the age you need to be to do it in this country, did my first jump, and I've been hooked ever since.
Oh.
What's the aim now then? Would you try and beat your own record? Are there other records out there that you'd like to?
That is the thing. My immediate focus, I'm competing with my team at the World Championships in North Carolina in October. So we're going to be training hard all summer for that. And then I'm sure I'll have something on the horizon.
So how does that work then? The World Championships, what's your training like for that?
So there's lots of different disciplines. The discipline we compete in is called free fly, and essentially we're creating a routine which the judges watch. We try and put lots of tricks in and make it look impressive.
Look at that. Which one's you?
That was me in the black and white.
Upside down.
Upside down, yeah.
I was struggling with that. Have we got the picture right? Or have we got the picture? And what are you doing here? That's landing on water.
So that's another discipline within skydiving, which is called swooping, where the aim is to dive your canopy at the ground and then level it out just before the ground and see how far you can get it to fly. That's one of the great things about skydiving. There's so many different disciplines within it. It's a much bigger sport than a lot of people realise, and there's always something new to learn, which is why I just keep wanting to do more. There's always more to learn.
I can feel your enthusiasm sitting here, your passion for it. And Andy, what this means is you're going to have another go and get your record back.
That may happen.
Would you love that? I mean...
Yes.
Well, it's lovely to have you both here, but it's lovely also to see your joy on his behalf as well.
Yeah.
That's great. Congratulations, both of you.
Nice to see you safely on the ground.
Thank you very much.
Do stay with us. Headlines coming up at 9 o'clock.